All right, guys, welcome to another episode of Real Estate on Record. I'm Mike Gaddy, today with Steve Zolinardo. What are we talking about, Steve? We're wrapping up 25?
Yeah, wrapping up 25. Clearly, we got a bunch of people coming in today with some old friends that originally started when I started in real estate. And my good buddy Hussein's coming as well, buddy Raymond, even my brother's coming as well. So it's going to be like an action-packed day.
The OG.
OG day. But you're right, just kind of wrap up what we did in 25, which is, I think it was impressive, like considering that it was literally, it's like a plane, like losing altitude at some points where it just drop out and it picked back up, and we kind of navigated through the whole year, which is great.
Yeah. Even considering, I think overall, like sales volume has been down year over year. We don't know what the end of 25 in December is going to look like, but I think it was something like 5 or 10%, somewhere in there that we were down sales volume year over year.
From our personal effort?
No, just in general. In general. Personally, I think we actually finished a little bit ahead of last
I think we finished that, which is crazy.
Yeah.
I was telling you, if this was a regular market like in 2018, this would have been a 70 deal year, because ultimately we had more. It would have been a lot more, because you think about all the listings that I think at one time we were carrying like 27 listings. It was something crazy with Tribute.
Yeah.
Maybe more. It was like 30 something. I don't know what it was. It was pretty insane. And a lot of that was all on your plate, to be honest, the listing side of it. So cheer on Mike, because it was a big year for like, also, it's a big year for real estate, clearly, but also big year for mental strength, because this is a year that'll test the best. And if you made it through,
it was tough.
yeah. But if you made it through this year, ultimately next year will be a breeze, because again, we're going into next year with plans like we do every year. We have plans on what to focus on. And I think our strategy is going to be good. Hence the plaid shirt.
I love it.
Getting back to the old.
Getting back to the roots.
To get back to the roots.
But yeah, no, this year was tough, because as we're seeing the decline in price, every conversation with a client, it's not like when the market's going up, every conversation, I think we can get a couple extra bucks. Yeah. Now I think we got to shave a couple bucks off the top, right? So most of the conversations weren't good, and obviously getting people to where they needed to be with price was the hardest thing. But then when we did, and we sold, and we turned back and looked in the rearview mirror, that's when we really saw the value and where we sold being good. Because, for example, one in Bradford where we were selling for, we ended up in the mid, like 1-1 area. There's on the same street, similar type of house is selling in the under 900 range now.
Wow.
So not exactly 100% comparable, but like huge drop in price.
And again, what you're saying as well with everything, it's every conversation with your clients is a negative one, because it's like market's declining, market's going in a decline. We're watching everything, and when we started this narrative, it was I started in 2022, so it's been way ahead of anybody that's been talking about it. And you came on as well at the same, around the same time. So it's like, it's not easy conversations, or even things that we're posting on Instagram. It's like, but again, if we really wanted to go in a different message and kind of like capitalize on people, you would spread a different message, and you'd maybe make more business, do an extra 20 deals. But ultimately, again, you're like me with the sense of integrity and being authentic, and providing people the exact information that they can make life decisions on, that is going to benefit them and their family in the future. I think that's what our messaging is. And again, ours will always be a little bit more
straightforward, to the point.
Straightforward, a little contradictive, a little uncomfortable feeling, because it's a message that it's like when daddy comes home and he says you got to clean up your room because shit's gonna happen here. So ultimately, that's what I think it feels like. But at the same time, this is the information that we're providing is to benefit people's lives, and this is even going into 2026. So like our new messaging. I don't know if you want to talk about it at some point, but it's like I think it's where we need to be, and I think we're gonna create a huge impact on these people's lives. To be honest, why? Because all they want is the truth, to make decisions. As long as you can present present the information to them in a way that everybody understands, like in layman's terms, and then ultimately they make a decision at that point. So
I think there's a few people that need that information quickly. Like you can't sugarcoat it because time isn't on their side either,
Mm-hmm.
right? So, um, unfortunately, like it's harder for us at the front because, like I said, sometimes it's easier to take it the second time around because it's just like there's a learning curve there that goes there, and people don't believe everything you say 100%, right?
They,
So it takes them time to learn themselves.
it's so true. I think even if you kind of look at, um, in my whole life has always been in sort of controversial in a sense of like opinions and where I'm going, but it's also the road less taken, right? And then if you really stand in your morals and you believe what you're saying because it is the truth, then you can't jump off of that because of like, because everyone else is doing it. So this is why, again, my life's always been like that. If, we moved to Florida early on. It's like now people are starting to get the gist of it, and it's we were singled out, even friends, family members, whatever it was. It was they think we're nuts. But now, like it's hilarious. I was telling you just earlier. It's like it's funny because a lot of people don't believe, even family members, they won't believe what you're saying. It's almost like they need an outside source to tell them, and they now it's become truth. It's hilarious. But if you kind of look, especially with the messaging that we're providing, like again, you just mentioned that the gentleman from Bradford, he cashed out at $1,050,000. That money, and again, we advise them not to buy anything, just keep it rented keep rent temporarily, live with family until everything settles down. He's going to come out if he stays in Canada. I think he's looking to move to the U.S., but ultimately, if he stays in Canada, that $1,050,000 is. You pulled it out of the market. It's like forget about the brick and mortar and the emotions attached to it. Look at it as an investment in your future, your kids' future, because every dollar you lose, it's like you're basically robbing your children's life. It's what it is. Because look, if you're making your current income right now, but you're losing equity on your property, that equity, yeah, it's yours, but also that's what we normally pass down. Because again, we're not wealthy. We're upper middle. Let's call it. Let's call it a spade a spade. I'm not And ultimately, all that equity is what gets passed down to your kids in the future. So if you have zero equity at the end because you didn't make a move, ultimately, you just robbed your children. So
Yeah, no, you're right.
it's another hard message for one of yours.
20 leading it to 26, we're gonna, I think, continue having these hard messages, unfortunately, and
Yeah.
it's I wouldn't say it's easier now, but it is a little bit more common to hear it because I guess obviously in the last like 4 to 6 months, the mainstream media's kind of picked up and started talking about like the market coming down. So the first conversation everyone thinks is like, or knows is, okay, the market's coming
Yeah.
down. Like we're not the one priming them anymore, which is a little bit easier on the back end. But I don't think 26 is gonna be any change, if any. I think it's
No.
gonna continue to get even worse.
But the only problem is if you're not early on the messaging, then you're late to the game.
Yeah, no, for sure.
So now, like, if everyone's on the same message, if you see a lot of people, like realtors or whatever it is, having the same message right
Oh, it's
now.
easy. Everyone's the mainstream media is talking about it, and you just
Now
follow it.
you jump on.
Yeah, exactly.
It's what weak people do.
Yeah.
They never really want to stand out. But ultimately, if you look at it, I always talk about this, even my little Mondays with Steve. I mean, those are like sometimes 5, 10, 15-minute little conversation rants I have with myself, basically. It's like me talking to myself. But there's so much information you can pull out of there and adapt to what's currently happening in the market. And even if you don't use this, there's so much info there. But it's like, you look at, I always talk about how when I left, it was like I was a nut job for leaving. Why are you selling, Steve? What happened? Like I told Elisa, like my assistant was like literally our assistant rather. So when I got in, I'm like, okay, we're selling everything. Shut down the normal workflow for a week. List every fucking property. Get the photographer out. Get the descriptions. I don't give a shit. Everything's going on the market at one time. So realtors that follow you or whatever it is, they know what you own because they check up on stuff, right? So it's like I was getting messages like, hey man, everything okay? Like, are you getting divorced? Are you fleeing are you getting kicked out of the country? Something happened? This doesn't make sense. And I've done this. This is one gentleman. This is the second time because in 2017 I did the same thing. So I said, no, buddy, I'm just getting the fuck out. The market's going to collapse in 2022. And he's like, oh, it's like, it's like, no, it's impossible. It's going to be a little blip. It'll come back. It's Toronto. And then ultimately we're 3 years later and we've lost probably about 37%
Yes, 30. I think we're average 30 something like that.
32 when I did that one in Cold Creek Estates, and that was a few
Yeah, yeah.
months
Cold
ago.
Creek took a beating.
But that's in general with the high
Yeah.
pricing, right? Like, so that's going to be at 35, 36% at this point,
Yeah.
and it's going to continue dropping. So it's like now they're starting to realize it. But what happened, what I was mentioning is like early on, we had enough buyers to get rid of your real estate. And then as you're seeing, you're starting to come back. We're like at 50-50 now. We're at, when we started talking about it this year, like still 60-40, where you have more buyers that are more, optimistic of the Canadian future, like economic future. So if you have the inline information where you know the market's not coming back, sell your assets and go. So we had all those buyers, right? Now we're starting to go like a 50-50. And as more of this message spreads that it's not coming back, when you have Tiff Macklem giving this, we were here in standards of living, but just you got to get used to here.
This is the new standard.
Yeah, it looked like my little rant where he was like using his hands, like just here,
Just
like
just under the original.
talking to like a grade schools, like like a grade 3 class. Like you're gonna be here, just get used to here. So when you start seeing that, you're gonna get a lot less buyers, and people that want to sell and want to get the hell out. You're not gonna have an opportunity, and it's gonna be stagnation at some point. And it's, I don't know why people don't believe it. Like I don't understand what's happening in people's lives during the day where they're not, realizing where they are. It's like, what are you watching? Like you can't watch. I watch a shitload of sports. I watch everything. Like I have a very busy life, and I still have enough time to kind of pull in information what's currently happening, like in the world in general, like it's going to affect us here in this country. So like we gotta, again, at some point it'll be stagnation where there's not going to be any buying and selling, and the people that are buying are going to be paying cash, and they're going to be paying very low prices for what you own. And if it's not already taken by the banks and the government. So again, I hope I'm wrong. Fuck, I don't want to be right with this. Like, who wants to be like? It's so. I don't want to be. I hope I'm wrong. It's like I have no like stake in it. Like,
Well,
I have nothing. I'm not like a bend against the country.
I don't think you're wrong either, because at the end of the day, look where like the government incentivizes people to invest, right? It's multifamily residential housing right now. It's very simple. So that telling me, like, obviously the CMHA loans, we're seeing all these purpose-built rental condos going up. Well, they're telling us basically, if you want to invest in this country, this is where it has to be, because that's where the most incentive is, right? Well, that's going to lead us obviously to like a renter society eventually, right? Yeah. Even look at Ford. Ford pushed out that bill C-60, but there was like stronger.
Can you explain that? I don't even know it.
I don't know all the
I don't want to follow anything.
I don't know all the ins and outs of it yet. I have to do some more research. But originally, when he first tabled it, it was a lot. It was a lot stricter than it actually turned out to be. And basically, his first press conference or release of it, he came out with it. Within 3 days, he like retracted statements because it was like he couldn't. There was so much pushback. Yeah, big time. There was so much pushback from the tenants, and even politically moving forward, like we're gonna get to a point where there's more of a balance between homeowners and tenants, right? So eventually, as a homeowner, you're not gonna get the same benefits that we've had all these years, right?
So then you look at that, like what you just said. There's gonna be more, because again, everything's pushed into multi-tenanted properties and stuff like that. So it's societal collapse, to be honest, because when you have more tenants than owners, you're in a backward society. So you're not going to have. It's not going to be what we're used to. Let's just say that it's in Europe. This is how it is in Europe. There's more renters than owners. So it's not like we don't know what it is. It's Europe. Yeah. So
yeah, but going back to like seeing what our government's narrative is, we're going to be our biggest customer, our own biggest customer. So there's no money coming into the country.
It's scary. I don't, it's so scary. I don't know. It's
even the pipeline deal, we had it all lined up and they basically pulled back. Now Alberta, obviously it's been going on for a while, is pushing to be their own sovereign nation or whatever they want to. I don't even know what they're calling it anymore, but I don't know. Where does this Alberta brings in the most money to pay for the rest of the provinces? Ontario's in a deficit. Quebec's in a massive deficit. Alberta's the surplus. Saskatchewan's a surplus. Do we get rid of those guys? What does our quality of life look like?
It's nuts. Even Doug Ford, they're sending roll text messages. Do we have your support? my buddy he's in Florida now. He's like, I'll vote when I have a conservative leader in place of this party, right?
Yeah,
Because
yeah, it's
this
different.
this is not what we voted for. This
Yeah.
guy, this is a fraud. It
He
is what
didn't
it is.
even
All
he
these
didn't
guys.
even want to support his own.
No,
So
nothing at all. Even my wife says no, absolutely not. This is not what we voted for. I just saw a sign coming in as we drove in, because we drove in from Florida, and it was, now we're in Toronto, so you start seeing like $30 billion road expansion or whatever it is.
yeah, who's paying for that? Me and you.
Who's paying for that? But if you got population leaving, you got a bigger problem than 30 billion. Why don't you use that 30 billion and incentivize entrepreneurs, like to create businesses?
No, that won't work here.
But that's what I'm saying. Like,
You're
why
right.
don't you incentivize entrepreneurs to come back and invest in the country? Give them zero taxation. Who gives a shit? Give them like crazy incentives, or people are like, okay, let's do it here because we have good employees, the whole thing. You got educated people. We can do a lot here. But ultimately, why don't you do that? We don't. We got it was over. So it was the highest migration out of Canada since 1946. Obviously, the post-World War. So I'm not sure, why they were leaving in 46. Maybe there was no employment. Everyone was going to the States, clearly, because that was a boom cycle. But I mean, ultimately, if you have a population collapse, that's what, not collapse, but you have a lot of, people leaving. And these are not just like regular schlebs that are leaving. These are high income, high intellect people that are out of the country. That actually pulls Canada. So you lose 100,000 of like your generals rather than your guys mopping the floors. It's a different story. You're losing a lot of talent. This is just the start of it,
Yeah.
You'll start seeing more of it. And people, they give me grief a little bit too, because it's Canada. And actually, the gentleman that we were just on the phone with, he made
It's a prime example.
He's a prime example for talent, but also his statement: Canada made me, but it's gonna break. Or what did he say?
Canada made me a rich man. It's gonna make me a poor man
Bankrupt.
soon.
Yeah. So I kind of relabeled it like Canada made me, but Canada's trying to break me.
Yeah.
So it's like that's what it's doing right now. So ultimately, you're gonna have to make shifts, and again, you have sore feelings with the U.S., but it's not even. I don't know. I've been there for 3 years. All the hostility is coming from Canada, because there's no hostility there. I got to be honest. There's nothing towards Canadians. Not even one thing.
No.
I don't know. I live in Florida. It's a very Republican state. If there's going to be controversy, that's like a state that pushes back on everything, because it's a strong mindset. Like the people that live there, there's been no issues. I don't know. Everybody knows where I'm from, so I see the hostility on this end. But that's also media being pumped. I was telling Thomas. When I got here, like Facebook, again, Facebook's a thing in America. It's like I stopped using it, then I got there and I started using it again.
You messaged me on Facebook.
Was that on Facebook?
I'm like, how do I even respond? I don't even know how this works.
His last message was from his mom, and then I messaged him on Facebook. That's who uses it. People like, elder people. But it's like a thing back there, and it's like marketing and everything. Well, anyway, I got back into Canada, and all the Facebook like messaging and stuff like that, even the Insta ads, were all like gone in a direction where Canadians are not traveling to Florida anymore. Canadians are not moving to Florida or not going to the States. They're not. Tom, you saw it too, right? Because Canada's not traveling to the U.S., they've lost $8.5 billion. Guys, there's so many Ontario plates where we are. Like, I don't understand. I've done more business in America from Canadians this year than any other year that I've been there. So I don't know.
Yeah.
So I don't know how if I'm a temperature gauge on buying. First year I was down, there was activity. Second year it was okay. Third year, which is this year, is like off the charts.
Especially if you want to invest, where are you going to invest here?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
There's no small investment in
Nothing.
Ontario. You need to at least have 5 units plus to make anything work.
And then
What does that cost you in Ontario?
oh my God, what is it?
$2.5-3 million, right? Like, for anything decent,
I can get you a 15,000 square foot warehouse for that.
that's what I'm saying, right? So at the end of the day, if you want to make a small investment, it's not possible here. So you have to go somewhere else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also the Landlord-Tenant Board Act is in your favor as a landlord. You got taxations in favor. Price of the houses, they're cash flowing, and they're small investments. Some of them, if you want to go bigger. But it's like, everything's in your favor. So you're starting to see a big, but also a lot of people that were pushed back against the U.S. prior have actually not succumbed, but they realize they've been lied to. They've been misled the last 3 years. And now, like, if again, as I got in, it was like the super propaganda program, like super propaganda. As soon as I got in, like right away, I'm like, I've never seen these ads. Then I put it together. Obviously, our cell towers in here. I mean, it's a dual SIM phone regardless, but obviously because we're in this area, starting to like, target market a message, and it's propaganda, right? So.
Yeah, even taxation though next year, like we're going the wrong way. Like you said, bringing in entrepreneurs and trying to incentivize people to invest. Every time we talk to not Kathleen Wynne, what's her name, the mayor of Toronto, Chow. She just implemented a increase in capital or what's it, not capital gains. What's that?
Property tax?
Land transfer tax on luxury properties, anything over $3 million. So like, why? Like, the tax isn't gonna make us save more money. Obviously, we need it, but why don't we think of how to fix the wheel, not just put a Band-Aid on it?
Yeah, no, they're just ripping again. But it looks let's the society collapse. We're at the end of the rope here, and there's nothing more like until there's some heavy investment and there's some optimism coming in from the higher ups, like our politicians. There's no hope.
No.
Because the builders, you got to move money. And again, I was talking about people give me grief because Canada made me, but also it's gonna break me. So you got to move. This is why we shifted everything out in 22. But if you look at us as Canadians, if yes, we were born here, but we're a half a generation in here. It's not like we've had roots where my parents' house has been like that's our ancestral home 300 years or something like we had in Italy. It's not. This is we're just moving with the flow. When the flow stops, you got to go. It's just I don't know why people look at this so hard. I don't get it. It's you got to look for the future. And right now, as much as there's a pushback with the Trump administration, the country's not perfect, clearly, obviously, but it's the best in the world. I've looked at everything before I left. I didn't just go. I looked at every part. I looked at Australia, New Zealand, Europe. Even if people were looking at Costa Rica, I looked at that as well. I looked at everything. Then I looked at the U.S. I'm like, this is it. But also what it stands for. The Bill of Rights, the Declaration of Independence, like that's in their DNA. That's what you want to fight for freedom, right? Like that's part of like the base of a country where you want to be part of. And then when you get down there, this
Thomas is nodding over there.
What's that? Yeah, he's good. Yeah, nodding. Poor guy. He's hearing a bunch of this thing. I think we exhausted the last guys with all these conversations. But it's like, what does I say? So if you look at the Trump administration right now, people push back. I was talking to my brother-in-law yesterday about this. Like, yeah, stop it. Stop your feelings because you're being misled. Look at it like just general. Look at it. If the guys created $18 trillion of new investment into the country within 10 months, and you look at the past administration, the Biden administration, in 4 years, less than $1 trillion of new investment into the country. This is $18 trillion in 10 months. And this is not people buying up land and buildings. These are people putting back manufacturing. Every manufacturer is going back. If it's car manufacturing, if it's AI, like these guys are passing nuclear power plants on buildings to power up the AI. Like you got to do this. This is just logic. How do you solve problems? You got to fix them. See a businessman compared to a popularity contest, which is what a politicians run for. They're popularity contests. We've voted for them even in this country. It's like, hey, this is a good speech, and they're fucking soulless. That's what it is. They're soulless. They just go with the current. They got no soul. It's like they got no balls. It is what it is. But if you look at that, you got all this manufacturing. Okay, going back to the problems, you want to create AI, you want to beat the AI race because that's the future. This is like the industrial revolution. Like who got the most oil in the ground, coal, who's creating the most energy, basically. And it always comes down to energy. So now AI needs energy. So what is it doing? They're passing nuclear power plants in 2 weeks.
It's crazy.
What are we looking at? This is what it is. That's the land. This is the impact. Go, stamp.
Yeah.
2 weeks. But again, as an entrepreneur, you're an AI or you're an AI, like all these big companies all come out of America. Yeah, you want that. And you're like, okay, fuck, we got to put more money back into the country because that's where the future is. If we're getting nuclear power plants, which we need to fuel the future here, and a government that's willing to back us, we got to put all our money, all our eggs in this basket right now. We can't bring it to Asia. We can't bring it anywhere else. A lot of that stuff was going to like the Arab nations and Dubai and Saudi and all that stuff, which is still there as well. But now, if you see, where would you rather have your money? It would be in America. Clearly, that's just reality. So that's what it is. So yeah, that's what's currently happening. So, but going back to like the middle class society, not everybody wants to be an entrepreneur and wants to be a multimillionaire. If they have a nice house, a great community, great area, kids can get into college, they can afford the college payments, have healthcare, because obviously we pay privatized healthcare, and then have like a little property. Like, again, that seems like a lot, but in the past, that's what you had in this country as well. So if you can bring back manufacturing, give these well-paying jobs, people go to work, they got a great salary, they don't, they go do their hours, they come back and they have a great life. You're going to have a society boost instead of a society collapse like we have here. And I always go back to the middle class, because that's where it is. That's where it is. That's what the fuel is. Like the elite is the top of the crust of the custard. It's what holds that fucking that custard, that thin layer of like melted ice. It's the custard underneath all that. You know what I mean? So it's us that we have to have like a good life and go forward. And unfortunately, it's not here anymore. I don't know if it comes back. I think if you look at Australia, New Zealand, and Canada, which is like they were originally British, part of the British colonies. They're all in the same, in the UK as well. Like they're all in the same path of just society collapse, which is unfortunate.
But even moving forward, just looking at the trajectory of the country, like obviously having your biggest trading partner in the US for 100 years is like owning a business. And you just basically, let's say you're a drywaller, and the builder that you started with, your neighbor, your buddy, when you came to the country, is like, here, take all these jobs. Well, that guy was feeding you jobs for 100 years. Now they're basically like that builder saying, okay, like give me, like I want some more, I want some better prices. Give me a deal. But yeah, basically what they're doing now is getting, like, you have to go find a new partner, someone to give you new work. Well, now we gotta go to the rest of the world. Things are gonna be more expensive, but we gotta go build those relationships. Like that's not gonna happen overnight.
No.
So the trajectory of the country, everyone's like, that I'm talking to, they're like, well, I hope 26 or 27 is looking better. Okay, but what's gonna make it better? We gotta build those relationships, secure those contracts for wherever we're getting that money from to come invest in our country to start turning that boat. That's not going to happen quickly. We're turning a cruise ship, not a little bow rider, right? So I don't see the trajectory getting better anytime soon.
Years.
It might be decades.
Yeah,
yeah, it might get better, but when? I don't know. And that's without talking about what you're just saying about being on the same path as England and Australia. Like, that's a whole different story altogether. But just looking at it from a business standpoint, like, we got to go build new relationships. It's going to take a long time. It's not going to happen overnight.
And to be honest, like they were so like gung ho. I find like even like the Canadian politicians are overconfident for the gun that they shoot, and they project us like, they pump out their chest. And I'm looking at it from the other side now. I'm like, these guys they're whacked. These are just a bunch of weak people that are not going to make it. When I always say like that guy's not going to make it. Like, it's just that they're not going to make it.
Yeah.
And they're not making it for everybody here.
Yeah.
That's the issue. If you look at, they were always like, oh, we're going to sell our energy and blah, 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 blah. They go to India. India said you're an unreliable energy partner still. Like, we can't rely on you. So we're not going to cut ties with the U.S. So there's India's gone.
Sure, unreliable. You can't approve a pipeline that you agreed to.
Yeah. So there you go. So unreliable. So that's obviously, big energy there. China, I'm not sure, whatever, but China usually owns a lot of our stuff here as well. That's two. It's realistically not, I don't know whether they're getting their oil from somewhere else, Venezuela, Russia, anyway. So, and then then there was the natural gas. They're like, oh, we'll just sell natural gas to Europe. They're in bed with Europe because we're going into a European like fundamentals in life. Like, the whole society is going to be a Europe without the culture and the food.
Yeah.
Just
and the view.
And the view. Just fucking. Natural gas. So they thought that Europe was going to be their savior because they aligned with Europe over America. And then so they get this natural gas. They go to Europe to kind of sell the natural gas. And where did Germany buy all their natural gas now? It was an $800 million contract. The U.S. Yeah.
Yeah, but Germany was the one that came to Canada when Trudeau came in
Yeah.
and
Hugged,
asked
kissed.
to buy it from us, and there wasn't a big business reason for them to sell it to
No,
them.
the contract just recent.
No, I know, but
Yeah.
10 years ago,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Germany came knocking on the door, and Trudeau was the one that said, "No,
No.
there's no business reason for us to sell them natural gas," and he shut the door.
Yeah. Well, oh, I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
But look, so it's always comes back to bad politicians, and the only thing I'm upset about the most, I got to be honest, is I get it. You get fooled once and you vote for, whatever party's in power, if it's left or right, who gives a shit. But if they're doing destruction, you kind of see it. You gotta help the population to vote the other way. Even if I'm a conservative, everybody knows that I'm a Republican in the States. Ultimately, if they're doing a shit job and I don't see the future, I'm gonna go left if that's a better position, or if there's a libertarian, I don't give a shit. Like, it's gotta be what I agree on for the future of in any country. So, like, when you had this party, you already saw like where we were going. They still voted it in a second time, and then a third time, and then now the fourth time. It's like there's no hope.
No, it doesn't make
so
sense.
Also, ultimately, the suffering that's currently happening here is done by the people, unless there was fraudulent ballots. I'm not sure. I don't know. Maybe there was. Maybe there wasn't. I don't think so, because a lot of people I spoke to voted that way. Voted left. Right. So it's. Again, all this suffering could have been avoided if you kind of got that party out originally. And now you're keeping on track of this, where it's like a minority going into a majority, where there's seat
Oh, we're a
members,
seat away.
1 seat away.
We bought in two conservatives to cross the floor, or a seat away.
If I was a
from
conservative,
majority.
I would just sell out too. It's like, this has got no hope. Like, like even Pierre Poilievre, like, I liked him. I thought he was great. But the people don't like strong messaging in this country. It's too strong.
No, we can't. We don't have the grit to listen to it.
Not the grit. You got your premier pouring out liquor on television like it's a prohibition. Like, this is nonsense.
Yeah.
Now that Canadian Royal Crown moved to New York to get a bigger market, 350 million people, and the Americans love Canadian rye whiskey. So it's like, where did Royale go to? Crown Royale, which is like the crown of Canada, Canadian rye whiskey. They're in New York. They're brewing there, and they're voting tariffs.
So, 2026, you think it's gonna be a
prediction of 26?
positive or negative outlook after this?
I think it's like, so this year we hit the Centurion Club, which is great, 100 deals both sides of the border, and then I explained like Centurion, what that is. That's basically a Roman general that handled 100 men. That's what it was. So if you ever see like I have the actual hat and everything for like the helmet, but that's what it is. I think this year was, you have a shield, you're taking arrows, and you're throwing spears, and you're hopefully blasting bombs. It's gonna be a tough year, but I think if we just pace it out, we have plans clearly where to function through the whole process. So we have a plan going into 26. I think it's going to be a great year for us. I don't see it being negative. I think it'll be a struggle, clearly, but we're used to struggles. Our whole life's been struggle. We shovel and pick everything. So it's like, it's not going to be anything normal. As long as we keep our center of influence strong, the people around us, same mindset, our same messaging, we don't let in, basically like just that thievery, like the mindset around you that just kind of bringing bullshit, like follow people on Instagram and all this like fake bullshit that you see the realtors and like selling all this stuff. Then you check, they get fucking pay their taxes in 3 years, 5 years, whatever it is. Like, this is what you got. We got to just avoid people like that, because it's all going to be a show. We just got to stick to our function. As long as we stick to our plan, we keep our head down, we're going to have a great year. I mean, this year was proved it. I mean, we're, I don't know, like 50, 60K away from Titan. Like, I think Team Titan, I think that's a great fucking year. Almost 50 transactions.
Yeah.
Like, I think so.
In a downturn.
Yeah, in a market that literally collapsed in front of it. Well, we knew it was going to, but it was, we just watched it deteriorate right in front of us.
And we shifted a while ago, but we kept that basically same narrative moving forward, and I think we're gonna just double down on it in 26.
Yeah.
Essentially is what we're doing, just with more focus and precision. Actually, really,
100%.
helping the right people that need to be helped. So
I agree, and it's also our people.
Yeah.
That like where we came from. So I think it's going to be something I can stand behind too, because I think ultimately selling is also what you believe in. If you believe in the message, if you believe in the people, you're gonna work that extra hard, and it'll come across, right? It'll be like infectious, and that's what we're going into 26 with obviously plan. Everything stays the same with the business, just another layer on top. So I think it's good. I think you might even have to hire people. So
yeah, I agree.
we'll see.
All right.
Well, thanks so much for watching, guys. Merry Christmas to you and your family. We'll catch you in 2026. Watch our messaging because we're going to be on this. We got our finger on the pulse. We're going to guide you in the right ways. Obviously, in 26, you're going to see a new plan for our. Should we mention anything about what we're doing or no?
We'll keep that for another episode.
Okay.
Watch the next one.
We'll see you. Have a good one.
Ciao.
Bye.